factors that affect the marine weather, and the integration and collaboration of marine weather forecasting. We have a chance of looking at a case study and a practical application of marine weather forecasting. Marine weather forecasting is a process by which mariners and meteorological agencies attempt to predict future weather conditions in the world ocean. I always say that it's a way we try to play God. We try to mimic the behavior of the atmosphere. In Ghana, with its extensive network of lakes, rivers, and a coastline stretching over 500 kilometers along the Gulf of Guinea, accurate weather forecasting is essential for a wide range of sectors, including agriculture, fisheries, transportation, and maritime trade. What is the significance of marine weather forecasting? We normally use the acronym SOLAR, that is Safety of Life at Sea. And it's also for economic purposes and for transportation, for agricultural planning and resource management. To understand the sea makes it very interesting, and it gives us the optimal use of the sea as well. So there's a need for us to get the conditions and the state of the sea before you play with it. Just like a knife or fire. Fire is a good servant but a bad master. For economic purposes, it's for exportation and importation of goods, as you could see from the Ghana ports and harbor industries, and the local fishermen at sea fishing for our women to sell them, and for you and I to get the seafood at home. And for transportation, we do transport goods and also import goods by the sea, and also the ferry at the coast, the Volta Lake also transport people and even cargoes from one end of the sea, of the lake, to the other end of the lake. As you can see, people waiting for the ferry to return for them to join it, and some of them too has already on board. And for agricultural planning, they have many of the cages in the Volta River. So for them to feed the tilapia or the fishes in the cages, they need to know the weather conditions and plan well as to when to feed them, whether the rain is coming, and the water level they are expecting to have, either to raise their nets up or to lessen it down, or to go a harness for the matured one or not. They need to depend on the accurate weather forecast over the Volta Lake as well. For the marine weather forecast for the ocean, we have demarcation by the World Meteorological Organization. It's just like the aircraft, but for the aircraft or for the flight, we call it FIR. That's the Flight Information Region. When it comes to marine, we call ours Met areas. Met areas. And we belong to Met Area 2. Met Area 2 is being coordinated by France. As you could see, the purple color there. And we also have exclusive economic zone. We term it as EEZ or EEZ. That is where we have the right to fish. The rest belong to the UN. So within this exclusive economic zone, we have the right to fish and protect that zone from foreigners. And this is the Volta Lake, as you can see, stretching from far north into the sea. The exclusive economic zone of Ghana is what you can see at the extreme left, and it extends from the coastline into the sea 200 nautical miles. And because of its vastness, we have demarcated them into the east coast, the central coast, and then the west coast as well. And this is the shapefile of the Volta Lake. The Volta Lake is the largest artificial lake in the world by surface, and it was built in 1961 up to 1965, purposely to generate electric power or hydroelectric power. The reservoir produced by this construction stretches northwards to meet the junction of several significant tributaries. The Volta River system consists of about 17 rivers, but the common ones will be mentioned to you. That is the Afram River, the Oti River. Then we have the Atakora River, the Pri River, the Black Volta. After the Black Volta is common, the White Volta. We also have the Red Volta. All of these compose of the Volta River that we do forecast for. And the downstream of the dam continues from another 110 kilometers before it joins the sea at a town called Adamfua. That is the estuary to the sea is located at Adanfoa. So the forecast for the Volta Lake stretches from far south to the north. And because of the variation in the microclimate, we've demarcated that one too into 3 sections. We have the extreme south, and we have the middle Volta, and we have the northern Volta as well. The common factors that affect the Volta Lake regions in forecasting, we have the local microclimate. Due to the size and the shape of the Volta Lake, localized weather conditions can vary, with some areas experiencing more rainfall or wind than others. Recently, we witnessed the spillage of the dam, causing havoc to the residents around the Volta Lake. I also have the fog and mist because of the presence of the Volta Lake affecting the ambient city, mostly early in the morning. And we normally experience high wind or strong wind because of a temperature difference and varying level of rainfall. Some challenges in forecasting weather along the coastline of Ghana. We have the coastal dynamic. Our coastline stretches from the far east, that's the border of Aflawo, Ghana and Togo, to far west, that is Ghana and then Cote d'Ivoire, to the Cape 3 Point. We have a lot of variabilities along the coastline, and the sea surface temperature variability as well. We have the topography. The topography also affects the weather pattern at sea. Then the urbanization and development, data limitation, and climate change impact. For the sea surface temperature, from our studies, we observed that the east coast has a higher sea surface temperature than the west coast. So this schematic diagram depicts the sea surface temperature at Tema and Takoradi Port. The blue one is the Tema sea surface temperature, and the red one is from Takoradi Port sea surface temperature. We have equipment deployed at these ports. So this is rail-based, the ground-based data we retrieve for analysis. For the marine weather, it consists of the inland weather forecasting, and then the coastline and maritime weather forecasting. The parameters we look at for are the oceanic parameters and the atmospheric parameters. That makes it different from the public weather. The public weather look out for mostly the atmospheric parameters, though they do consider some of the oceanic parameters, mainly the sea surface temperature. But the sea surface temperature is the one that feeds the atmosphere with moisture. So a higher sea surface temperature gives more evaporation and more influx of moisture. So for the oceanic parameters, we look out for sea surface temperature, significant wave height, the tidal wave, and then the wave current as well. For atmospheric parameters, we look out for winds, but the surface wind is the one that we put on the forecast. When we talk about the surface wind, the one that affects the boats or operation at sea, mostly at 10 meters high from the surface of the ocean or 2 meters. But for analysis or for forecasting, we look for the winds at various levels of atmospheric pressure. We look at 925 hectopascal level. We also look at 850 hectopascal level up to 200 hectopascal level. For visibility, then we also give the expected weather. Either we are expecting thunderstorm, rain, or strong wind, or fair weather. Give or as part of the family. And how do we get the data that we use it for our forecast? We have a ground-based observation. When we talk about ground-based observation, we mean the in-situ data, the equipment that we deploy on the sea to take data. We have tidal gauges. For tidal gauges, we attach them to the coastline or onshore to avoid the perturbation or the oscillation. So that one is fixed onshore for the data to detect the tidal height. And on the coastline and the inland waters, we have automatic weather stations, and we also have synoptic stations for observation. And beside this, we also depend on satellite. The satellite takes data from space, so that one can cover vast area than the ground-based equipment. And how do we give the forecast? I'll walk you through the technique, especially for the sea. We need to know the position of the moon with respect to the earth, because the tide depends on the position of the moon with respect to the earth. So we use a real-life model to get the position on tide. So for the tide, we have the nip tide. The nip tide is where the moon, the earth and the sun are in 90 degrees. They are in 90 degrees to each other. For neap tide, they are not all that strong when they are in 90 degrees. The pulling of the moon and that of the sun are not much felt at sea. So that one does not give a high wave or tide. But when we are in the full moon or new moon, we call that one spring tide. That's where we have the highest tide for the day. So we check when are we going to get a full moon or new moon for our prediction. After checking that, for a new moon and a full moon, the position of the moon and that of the sun and the earth are in straight lines. So when they are in straight lines, the pulling is much felt at sea, and as such, it gives a high or the highest tide. And the tide actually happens twice in a day per our catchment area or per our exclusive economic zone. It happens twice in a day. What you see happening when you visit the sea is the effect, the ripple effect of the highest tide for the day. And it happens within a time span of 12 hours and 25 minutes. 12 hours and 25 minutes. So each 12-hour, 25 minutes period, you do get the tide for the day. And also check the wind. The wind, as I've already explained, we check the source of the wind, whether it is continental wind or maritime winds. Continental winds are mostly dry, that is from the continent. The maritime winds are moisture leading. They are moisture rich winds. Also check the direction. It could be continental, but direction is much important to us. And the force of the winds as well, or the speed of it. We look out for the convergence. The convergence, we have velocity convergence and we have head-on, like a wind coming from the north and one coming from the south. They can meet, and it depends when they meet, then they mix up. If the other one supersedes the other the clouds will start forming. I will explain that one to you when we get to the next one. And we also have the velocity convergence. That is where one is moving at a higher speed, another one is moving at a slower speed, and it meets. They all converge. We also have check the cyclonic flow. In a simple term, cyclonic means low pressure or low atmospheric pressure. So when we have anti-cyclonic flow, it means high pressure. That means anti means against low. That's why we have tropical cyclones. It means low at the tropic. That's in the simple term. We also look out for the current satellite image. For our prediction. This image that you see there is a rainstorm that we experienced in Ghana. It was around Tuesday. We captured it and warning was issued to that effect. And we have our own models that we do run. As a numerical weather model. We run, this is the wave word 3. We do run it before we put together all these analysis and come out with the forecast. The inland water. For the inland, for now, they are much interested in the atmospheric parameters, not the oceanic parameters. We are yet to add the oceanic parameters, but we were to satisfy the users. On the screen, this is the example of the inland water forecast. The inland water forecast is being issued 3 times daily. The first one is issued at 4 a.m. with a time window of or lead time of 2 hours, and it takes effect from 6 a.m. to 18 UTC. And we have the impact base one. The one at the extreme left is the table format. It captures all the major city along the Volta Lake with the weather parameters and then the expected wind strength as well. Like I did say, the wind we give the 10-meter wind. The 10-meter wind, the one you on the screen is the 10-meter wind. It's not the one for the forecasting, for the analysis or for rainstorm or whatever, but the one that affects the canoes on the lake. The impact-based forecast, for us, our aim is to save life at sea. And because of that, we have reduced our colors for better understanding of our users. So the traditional one supposed to be 4 colors, but ours, they are 3. As we move on, I will explain to you why they are 3. So for the green one, simply means low impact. The colors themselves mean the impact. So if you see the green, simply means low impact. The yellow one means the medium impact, and the red one means high impact. And the letters or the alphabets that you see them in gives the likelihood or the probability of the forecast happening or coming through. So if one sees green, the way you see green, the one on the screen, the first one shows is the morning forecast. We are not expecting any rain. The second one is the afternoon forecast. We are not expecting rain. But the last one, the evening one, is where we are expecting rain. So at the extreme, at the north, you see the rain sign and then the letter A. In the first place, the color green shows that if it rains, the impact is expected to be low. But the probabilities, they vary. At the north, we are expecting a probability or a chance of it happening that is less than 0.4. Less than 0.4 probability. But at the middle and then the south, we are expecting a probability of 0.4 to 0.6 range. 0.4 to 0.6 range. And the forecast, we do update them every 6 hours. Every 6 hours. That gives us the 3 times for the inland weather forecast. I was trying to explain the 4 a.m. we issued it with a lead time of 2 hours, take effect from 6 a.m. to 18 p.m. But we update it within a 6 hours time period at 10 a.m. with another 2 hours lead time that takes effect from 12 p.m. to the next day. That is the next midnight. That is 12 hours. The morning and then the afternoon one spans for 12 hours. But the updates are every 6 hours. Except the evening one. The evening one spans for 18 hours. 18 hours. We do issue it at 4 p.m. or 1600 with the same time lead of 2 hours. Same time lead of 2 hours until the next day. And on the screen is the coastline and maritime weather forecast. The coastline and maritime weather forecast, the table format is what is at the left, and then the impact-based format is what is at the right, with the same interpretation as the inland water forecasting. But the difference is with the coastline and maritime weather forecasting, we add the oceanic parameters as well. Apart from the atmospheric parameters, we add the sea surface temperature, visibility at sea, then significant wave height. They also give the tide and then the wave current as well. The wave current, mostly for us, we give where it is going, not where it is coming from, unlike the wind. The wind, when we say south, north, when we say northeast, it means the winds are coming from northeast. But for wave current, if I say northeast, it means the wave is going to northeast. Because of the kind of equipment our fishermen are using, or our users for fishing, we have agreed upon threshold for better and safety at sea. Our definition is different from the international definition, but it's accepted by WMO. For a wave height less than 1.5, we describe that one as calm. And a wave height between or greater than 1.4 but less than 2.5, we describe that one as rough. But any wave height or significant wave height greater than or equal to 2.5 is described as dangerous. It's because of the kind of equipment our fishermen are using. They are not using sophisticated ships like many of the developed countries are using. They use canoes, tabrubom, and that tabrubom cannot cope with a sea height of 2.5 meters. If 2.5 meters can be dangerous and loss of life can be end up in that. To meet them halfway, we have developed an app, an USSD code for our fishermen. But that one, irrespective of the kind of phone we are using, it's just a matter of dialing dialing star 920 star 88 hash. After doing that, you will get the state of the sea for the next 4 days before you leave for fishing. And when they do that on their phone, other smartphone, or in Ghana here, we term the other phone, the one that are not smart, as yam phone. If they dial on the yam phone, you will see 1. 1 means calm. If they see 2, 2 means rough. And if they see 3, 3 means dangerous. So that gives them an informed state of the sea before. So some of them live for days before they return onshore. We will take a look at the app and the education that we gave to the fishermen. And this one has been translated into various languages along our coastline. We have 3 languages, 3 different languages. We have the Ewe, that is for the Togolese, and then the Ghanaians at the Volta region. We have the Ga language version. We have the Fanti version as well. This is the English version for us to appreciate the good work we are doing with our fishermen and the duties that we are discharging for better Ghana.
Hello, Mr. Adam. Hello.
So this is the app, that is a UJ_James.
Hello, Mr. Adam.
Yes, please.
Yes, I think you went a bit offline or something like that. We could not hear you. So I think if
That's how we cannot hear.
You could, yes, it was hard to hear anything. So if you
could
repeat what you said in the past 2 minutes or so, it would be helpful. Yeah.
And after, hello, moderator. Yeah, moderator.
Yes, sir. Okay, I think it's good now. So if you can repeat what you said. And
when I was playing the video, you said you were not hearing the sound.
I think so. Maybe I didn't see a video playing though, but then,
did you see the video?
Not here. Yeah, there wasn't any sound actually.
Yeah. So, virtually, I've explained almost everything in the video.
All right.
It's about the USSD code we do give to the fishermen. So I've already explained that.
Yes.
So how do we disseminate our forecast? After the forecast, we don't need to keep it in our room. So with that, we display them on our website. We also use the social media. We broadcast the forecast on radio, TV, and YouTube as well. We also have the common alerting protocol, that is CAP. It is in red because it is in progress. We have not started using it yet. It's in the pilot stage. And we have the weather information dissemination system as well. So these are the ways we do disseminate our weather forecast. And we look at an incident that happened on 6 May 2022. That is the Menzin 11 fishing vessel. It sank at propagate after a captain ignored warning sign of a storm. We issued the warning, the forecast, that is the marine weather forecast. We do issue it at 1600 or 4 p.m. and it has 8 hours time window. So if we are issuing the forecast for tomorrow, that is today, we will issue it at 4 p.m. and it takes effect from midnight. That is, today's date is 25th. So the issuing time and date will be today's own, that is a 1600, and then the date will be 25th. But the validity time will be 000 UTC. That is 4 zeros. That's a 12 midnight with the date of 26. So this is an example, or this is the forecast that was issued that very day. This was issued on, that was 5th May 2022, and its validity was, that is 6th May 2022 at 000 Zulu. That the Z that you see there, the unit for time. And when after issuing this the day before, that was the 5th, and that very day, 6 May 2022 at 8 o'clock a.m. a warning was issued to complement the weather, the forecast that was issued a day before, to warn our fishermen. Sometimes they pay heed to the warning more than the forecast. So we added this one in order to save life. But because the captain ignored the warning, it ended up losing about 4 Ghanaians and I think 2 or 1 Chinese man. There were 28 on board, but they were able to rescue those around, that are roughly 16 to 18. And we have a link with the NADMO, because they are in charge of disaster, either on land or at sea. And they further distribute the forecast to those they think they need them to help, if only the warning is going to cause havoc or any disaster. They prompt them. And we have the collaboration with Ghana Maritime Authority, the Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, University of Ghana Marine Department, the Fishery Commission, and many others. We also share information to deepen our understanding of the weather forecasting. Then we also give the public awareness through our social media platform, and we continue to upgrade our knowledge in the weather forecasting. So this is a workshop that we did for Canoe and Fishing Gear Owners Association of Ghana. We train them for them to understand the forecast and spread the knowledge of the forecast as well for the betterment of their work. Recently, we even gave training to the Togolese nationals, about 28 of them online. That is from the Togo Met and Togo Maritime Authority. And the online one ended with face-to-face. But the face-to-face, the number was reduced to only 2 in person. So this is the team of our staff. We were at sea or the fishing ports to educate the fishermen and to also take feedback from them, because they also have their traditional knowledge. At first, they were depending on their traditional knowledge for their forecasting. But the only difference is that the traditional knowledge of forecasting, some of them learn the fishing from childhood. They learn it by doing. So they were trusting their forecast until this climate change. Or sometimes they will see the signs, all right, but they will end up losing their life or property at sea based on climate change or climate variability. Many of the things that they learn to predict the weather have changed. So they needed to depend on scientific way of forecasting. And the scientific way of forecasting can look into the forecast in a year or 6 months, a month, a week, 24-hour or 6-hour period as a nowcasting. Thank you very much for your attention. The Chinese man will say shishi, and Akan man will also say medasi, and then the Swahili will say asante sana.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adam Deche, for the insight into the operations of the of your unit at the Ghana Meteorological Agency here. I will open the floor for questions, and you can also post your question in the chat box. So if anyone has a question, you can do that by raising your hand, and we'll open the floor for you. So I think earlier there was a question in the chat box, and this was from Atabimpo, and he was referring to your presentation where you mentioned that you're able to forecast. For you to be able to forecast, you need to know the position of the moon and you use real-time model. So he wants to know if there are some instruments for that purpose. So that was his question, if there are some instruments that you employ to help you know the real-time position of the moon. That's the question.
Yes, please.
So, okay.
There's an instrument that gives us the position of the moon with respect to the Earth, and it's live. You can have the top view, the side view, and the ground or the bottom view. You look at them, and it gives you when we are expecting a nip tide or spring tide. The nip tide is where the positions are in 90 degrees. The three, that is the sun, Earth, and then the moon are in 90 degrees. And then the spring tide is where they are in straight line. So it gives you all the dates. So this time around, we are expecting that's the first quarter tide, that's the nip tide around, that is the first May.
Okay.
And then on the 8th, we are expecting a new moon. On the 8th of May, we are expecting a new moon. That time, we are expecting the tide to be the highest. All
right. Okay. Thank you very much. Paul also wanted to know whether the PowerPoint presentation will be made available to us. And the response by David Tete, who is a staff at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, was that yes, the PowerPoint presentation will be shared to all participants who registered using the link that was provided. So the link is still in the chat box, and you can hit on it and then register, and you'll be able to receive the presentation. And then I think Mohammed Bako Matazu also wants to know what is the difference between direction and velocity convergence. So, Mr. Adam, I don't know if it is clear to you the difference between direction and velocity convergence.
I said the convergence, we have the two. We have the one that you say the head-on, like
Yes.
wind blowing from the south, meeting the wind blowing from the north.
Yes.
That's what mostly we term as the ITB, intertropical convergence zone. That's the southerly winds and then the northerly winds where they meet. So when they meet, depending on the stronger one, that will supersede the other, and the moisture level, or how that is the moisture level. And the velocity convergence is where one is moving at a higher speed than the other. So the one with the higher speed, let's say we have a wind which is moving 5 knots, and that one is moving 8 knots. So definitely if they are in the same direction, the one at the 8 knots is likely to meet, or it has a 3 speed higher, that's the advanced speed, to meet the 5 knot wind speed. So when they meet together and they merge, is what we term as the velocity convergence. And the directional convergence is where we have the two other northeast meeting the southeast, or however.
Right.
That
Thank
one
you
is
very much.
directional. Okay.
Okay. I hope Mohammed Bako, you are okay with that. And I can see some hands up. So I will start first with Kwame. So you can unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Kwame, calling from Kumasi Airport Met Office. I want to find out, looking at the marine forecast, which territorial outlook are we looking at in terms of coverage? Do you have just like the aeronautical part where we have a of let's say Liberia or Zambia or whatsoever? I want to find out from.
Yeah.
Please, do you hear my question?
Yes, please. Well,
yes.
so
it basically.
So in case.
Okay. In case maybe he may mention it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The marine weather forecast, like I said, we have the into Met areas. That is 20 Met areas, and we are in Met area 2. And the Met area 2 is where when we issue any warning, it goes to Ghana Maritime Authority, and they further put it on that Met area 2 for a ship moving from maybe from Europe to Ghana to be informed if there's any system or any havoc at sea. And when it comes to the local one, we have exclusive economic zone. That one is defined. If you type exclusive economic zone of Ghana, it will give you the shapefile of where we have the right to fish, or to where we have the right to the sea. Beyond the exclusive economic zone, we don't have any right. Our forecast covers the exclusive economic zone that has been defined by WMO, and also takes care of the coastline, the coastal cities as well. That's why we have the coastline and maritime forecast. The maritime is the onshore and then the offshore. When we say onshore, that's the coastline. You see where they anchor their canoes or the ship. If you import car and they bring it from Europe or Korea or China, where they anchor the ship and upload the things and bring them to the harbor before you go for them. That's what we term as onshore. And the offshore is the deep sea. The offshore is the deep sea. And our forecast covers the two. That is the coastline and maritime. If I say the coastline, that's the coastal cities. The maritime is the onshore and the onshore and the offshore. And the marine forecast, we say marine forecast, but for us, we have the two. The inland waters is also part of the marine forecast. But the inland waters, because as of now, the Volta Lake is the one that we do forecast. We have other lakes like Lake Busumche and name them. But the Volta Lake, because of its composite, it's composed of other rivers and its vastness, or the way it stretches from the south to the north, you focus for that one. So the marine forecast basically covers the inland waters, the Volta Lake, that is the Volta Lake. If you say inland water, that is the Volta Lake. Cities, the shore, the onshore and the offshore. Then the onshore, but because Ghana and Togo, we are almost brothers. When we send the forecast, the Togolese, they use our forecast as well. We're told when they came here, and when we also met the fishermen at Tema, we met them, the Eastern Coast, we brought all of them to Tema. And when we educated them, they said their brothers in Togo also use the forecast as well. That's why we brought them here, their marine met, and then the Maritime Authority here, and we trained them through a project called GMS Africa, GMS and Africa. Hello, have I answered your question, or I need to?
Yes. For clarification's sake, normally, I know when it comes to the Navy, talking about the deep sea, they have some nautical distance that they look into, because in terms of the Atlantic Ocean, I know it spans to a whole great deal of a distance. So let's say, does it mean we don't have actuals in terms of nautical miles into the ocean, especially for the deep sea? I'm not referring my question to the inland, or let me say the coastline. I mean the deep sea, because I know. Yes. So, do you have any figure in terms of nautical distance?
Yes, we
to
have.
Look at.
Yeah, it is on the forecast. Okay. We look into 200 nautical miles.
Fantastic.
200 nautical miles, and beyond that, we don't have the rights.
Okay.
So if you hear of Navy, we are protecting our exclusive economic zone. They cannot go beyond that.
Okay.
Beyond that one,
I think my question is even answered.
Thank you very much.
It's answered. Thank you very much.
And then we do give them the forecast.
Okay. So thank you for the clarification there, Mr. Adam. Nana Kweja, your hand is up.
Okay, my question is highly answered.
Yeah, let me come. Nana Kweja is the president for the Canoe Owners Association. That's the fishermen in the whole Ghana. He's the president.
Great.
He has been very, very, very instrumental to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me ask his question.
All right, Nana Kweja. So the floor is yours.
Moderator, and good morning to you all.
Your voice is, I think, far. So if you can get closer to
is it better now?
It's better now.
Good morning to you all, and let me thank the presenter, Mr. Adam, for the wonderful presentation. Yes, he has introduced me already, and I am proud to acknowledge. And I have a few comments to make. The first of which is to commend the Ghana Meteorological Agency for the wonderful work you are doing. But sometimes it baffles some of us, our minds, if indeed Ghana Meteorological Agency is a public institution, because the culture that we have known it's quite different when it comes to Ghana Meteo, and we commend you for lifting the bar that high. No wonder you were recently awarded, and we congratulate you also. We really appreciate the collaboration we have with you and the support you provide to us. We are also very much gratitude to you for grateful to you for the effort you make to get feedback from fishers. In fact, the feedback, the effort you make to get feedback from fishers really helps us to bring out issues of concern, and that goes to improve the service you provide to us day by day. For instance, I can report that we now receive the forecast twice in the day, 10 o'clock and 4 p.m. And in addition to the warnings that come from time to time. And it has been very helpful And I'm happy you emphasize the fact that we like the warning very much. It's more or less like a reminder to what has been said. And the warning really did a marvelous work when it was shared, and we quickly sent it to our people. In all, we appreciate the good job you are doing, and we urge you to do more. My next issue has to do with your the issues you raised about challenges you have in the forecasting. And I would like to suggest, and I believe you will agree with me, that if you are the forecasting is not complete until it gets to the final consumer, the user. Yeah, in this particular case, I see the product to be very, very helpful. And in fact, this governance includes safety at sea. And we are very much keen about that, and are always put for a national dialogue on how to improve safety at sea in the artisanal sector. And your service is paramount. It's inevitable in achieving that. And with the effort that our collaboration with you contribute to making and improving, it's actually yielding results day by day. And it is important we deepen that. So the capacity of users probably should be captured as part of the challenges, so that when you are looking at what to do to improve the work you are doing, some attention can be given to the capacity of users to utilize the service, the product that you give. I think that should also be considered. On the on the area, you focus over the 200 marks, and yes, that is the exclusive economic zone. But then in the artisanal sector, we are more or less found in the inshore exclusive zone. You know, Ghana has a 6 nautical mile fishing zone for artisanal sector, which is the inshore exclusive zone, and that is where most artisanal fishers fish. Is it possible to have, just as you have the east, north, central division along the 55-kilometer coastline, is it also possible to have some sort of something within the inshore exclusive zone and something beyond the inshore exclusive zone? Because our experience, sometimes you go into deep sea to meet the rains, when at the near shore and the shallow waters they aren't. So is it possible to have that division as well, so that we can appreciate where it actually occurs and then the intensity at where it is? But overall, the service you render are top notch, and it has really impacted positively our work as fishermen, and we will continue to collaborate with you, rely on you, and chase you for more. Thank you, and thank you very much to the entire team.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much, Nana. As you said in my presentation, I did explain the challenges that we do have for the coastline. We have different climate or microclimate patterns from the east to the west. As of now, our forecast put everything together as one. So with time, we're trying to demarcate the east. We are finding difficult how the outlook will be because of the understanding that we already made with the users from the far west coast to the far east coast of our coastal land. We wanted to make it like the east coast. We want to separate it from the middle and then the western coast, and we are on it. So with time, you hear from us. As you said, at first we were giving the marine forecast once, that is for 24-hour period, and it was our period, but we are at the 4-hour period. But from you AM, then another one starts from 12 AM to 12 PM. So with time, you will get the demarcation done for you. All what you are saying, they are possible. We shall get there. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for making us aware that you go beyond the exclusive economic zone of Ghana. I even heard that some can even go to different countries for fishing. We will update you on that. That is why we partner with the Togolese or the Togo Met, so that they also update us. With time, we will link up with because of the language barrier. Those are far east, that is the Togo and Benin. They speak French. It makes it difficult for us to share forecasts together, but we can share ideas. And they are very good in speaking the English language than us. We cannot speak any of the French. We cannot express ourselves in the French like the way they do. So we are trying to link up with our neighboring countries, Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. Mostly our systems move from the east. That could be attributed to the rotation of the earth. It's moving from west to the east. So not always, a lot of the systems normally move from the east. And unfortunately for us, our east and the west neighboring countries speak French, but that cannot be an impediment for us. We will still collaborate and get any update from them as well. But we cannot depend on only the satellite imagery. As you saw in my presentation, the satellite imagery alone cannot give, it's better, it's good, but if you add the ground-based observation, it makes it better. That's why I'm saying this. Not that we don't forecast for a system when we see it's located at the sea of Nigeria or Benin or Togo, but we can only see that as evident with the satellite image. I want to add the ground-based observation, those there on the ground, so that they can feed us and describe the systems as we might have seen it on the satellite image, the real characteristics of the system before we issue the warning or come out with the forecast. Because if you are not careful and you continue to issue the forecast, the time will come, they will lose interest in it. But the closer it is, the better or the sharper the outcome. So we heard you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adon. Elijah, can you please unmute and then ask your question? You can see your hand up for some time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, moderator, and good morning to everyone on the platform. It's a nice experience, and I'm glad to be here. I'm Elijah from Ghana Meteorological Agency. In fact, I'm a senior meteorological officer, Axim District Office, to be precise. Okay. I have some few questions, but before that, I will plead with the moderators to, if possible, if they can share, in as much as they've shared the how do you call it, PowerPoints with us, I will plead with them to possibly share the recordings as we are having now, so that we can as well use that. Thank you. Now, to my question. First of all, Mr. Deche, he made us know that in Ghana, as with the marine forecast, we have the exclusive economic zone of Ghana, which is being defined by W. And if I heard him right, it covers coastal cities and the shores. Please, I want to know, does that mean all coastal cities in Ghana, all coastal cities and shores in Ghana? If then it means Axim is not left out. Axim is not left out. My question here is, in fact, this is my first time of hearing about the marine forecast. I mean, the impact of it and then it being in effect. I want to know if it will be possible for these informations to be disseminated deep down into to even the fisher folks. Like we are even glad to have, or we are even privileged to have the president of the Ghana Canoe Owners Association, Nana Kweja. I'm glad he's also here. I want to know, I want to find out how best this information can go down to the fisher folks, because the video that was just shared about the dissemination of the information, the apps, and in order to help the fisher folks, be aware of happenings on the sea before or prior to they going for fishing. It's a good thing. In fact, I happen to have some of the videos, and I tried sharing with some of them as a form of trying to educate the fisher folks here at Axim. But it appears some of them have no knowledge about it being around. So I think it has to do with education. Maybe, like Nana was saying, that they are seeing the impact of what Meteo is delivering, okay, with respect to maritime forecasts, because they are at the top. So they have direct contact with Meteo. So they are seeing the impact. But I think those down here, it's difficult for them to get the information. So I want to know how best we can, disseminate the information down to the fisher folks at the local level. Now, another one goes to, I don't know if Nana could this. If, like, put a conference for all fish canoe owners in Ghana, if they take records of the various, the canoe owners from the various regions, because since it's a national staff, probably or possibly everybody